What's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Friday night. Goodness, crazy night. August 25th, 2023. It's about 9:36 p.m. California time here. Latest activity looks like a 2.5 into the region of Alaska. Going to jump into first, though, some activity developing out here in the Gulf of Mexico, getting really close to going to the Gulf of Mexico here. We're looking at Invest 93. Now that if that does turn into a tropical storm, it will be named Idalia. Beautiful name. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I was going to do it at the start of this video, but we made 100,000 subscribers. Holy smokes. That happened today. Not for sure who made that happen, but we're obviously above that now. So, of course, we'll be doing that video here. 100,000 subscriber giveaway drawing will be coming up. I'll be putting out a video here in the coming days. Anyway, okay, let's get back to the Invest 93, which could be a concern here for the Florida region. Quite a few of these spaghetti models here. I call them spaghetti models because they're just kind of look like noodles all over the place. But most of the time, these models, when they're in agreement, that's the path that it normally takes. Now, again, here is the satellite imagery. Let me pop this up. It is just a cluster of a disturbance, so to speak, here. Tropical thunderstorms out here just off the coast here of the area. You can see, let me bring up another map here. Here's the low, here's the spaghetti models. Again, just off the coast of this area, which is, let's see here, I'm not 100% certain. Well, part of Mexico there, it looks like. Off of Cancun, is that right? Never been down there. A lot of people have. It's kind of an interesting area. But that's kind of looks like that's where it's at right now. Most of these models, if you look here, are pointing right up into the panhandle there of the Florida region. I don't see too many that are going away from it. That's the global and hurricane models. The GFS assemblies here show roughly about the same thing, but a little bit broader area of impact region. Now, let's go ahead and look at some models here of this area. Just going to start over with a new model here, and we'll take a look at this low pressure down here. That's going to be Invest 93. Now, as we kick this thing into motion here, we're going to watch this. It's kind of a, let me make this a little bit smaller so we can actually see it as it's developing. It looks as though it's going to get its act together here slightly after, some little thunderstorm activity to make a tropical storm right about there. And it looks like it could be maybe a hurricane by that landfall. But as you can see, depending, the Gulf's obviously very warm, and depending on how fast this thing develops, we could be looking at a hurricane developing here and hitting the Florida area, and then of course heading up north and dissipating. So we're watching this pretty closely here. Again, that's just one weather model. This is on the looks like the 30th time frame or so here in a couple days. So we'll continue to watch these weather models on Invest 93. That's definitely something to watch, and it looks as though we could be entering into a category 1 hurricane up around 75 miles per hour or so with one of these models. This is the Invest 93 model intensity guidance, although most of it looks like they're showing right around the 45, 55 mile per hour tropical storm, strong tropical storm that could be hitting the Florida area. But either way, we'll definitely keep an eye on this as we get closer with this tropical disturbance out here. Invest 93, once again, that'd be called Idalia if it does make the tropical storm category. There's a couple other storms out there that are spinning off in the Atlantic. Not of any concern right now. Those are getting caught up in the patterns out here and getting pushed off away from the states. But again, we'll continue to watch this and see how 93 plays out. So just a heads up, we could be looking at some landfall being made out there with Invest 93 or Idalia. All right, earthquake activity. Let's go ahead and check this out here real quick. See what we got going on this Friday night. Let's check out the California area here real quick, right off the bat. Looks like a little bit of movement here in Southern Cal, once again, along the North American side of the plate boundary. A couple smaller earthquakes up and down the board here. I don't think we've seen anything major as far as any larger scale magnitudes, but we're getting a little scattered activity up here around the Ventura area. More broader pattern compared to our swarming area that we've seen here in the last week or so. Let me check out the 2.5 and above, see if we got anything. Where's that 2.7 in Carson, California, that was felt earlier this morning. But aside from that, one earthquake up in Northern California around the Clear Lake volcanic field. That's the Calpine hydrothermal operations. And looks like one earthquake over here as well in the Round Valley area. This is very close, or just within the range here of Long Valley supervolcano. But aside from that, most of it microquake activity. Getting quite a bit of movement up here across the Lake Almanor area south of Chester. Although it's mostly microquake activity, it is kind of kicking up a little bit here around that lake region. Also Reno, Nevada, outside of Reno, is getting a little swarm of itself there. This area definitely has shown a little bit of movement here in the past couple months. But of course, that's very typical, right? With many fault systems out there. Northern California, a handful of smaller quakes. Looks like a 2.4, the latest. 13 kilometers deep there, just around the Mendocino Triple Point Junction. Let's look at the tremor map tonight and see what we have for Cascadia tremor. 89 epicenters, a little bit there outside of Medford, Oregon. This is a slow slip event down there at about 35, 45 kilometers deep into the subduction zone of the Cascadia underneath this area. Nothing major, but still a little bit of tremor. There's some activity there across the Mount St. Helens and the Mount Rainier area. Nothing major going on, just a couple smaller microquakes in the region. Yellowstone National Park. Looks like some smaller earthquake activity as well from earlier, I believe. Let's see if we got anything newer going on here across the region. Doesn't look like it. There's some of that earthquake activity over the last day or so. A little bit of movement here. Looks as though that kind of looks like wind. Let's is that right now 0400? Oh yeah, let's go. I want to check out the windy map here real quick and see if we got something stirring up there. Far as the weather goes, there's windy. Okay, I just got so many bookmarks all over the place. Look at this. I've got a low pressure system kind of spinning off here. Looks like it wants to anyway. Interesting. A developing low off the coast of Northern California. Okay, so up here around the Yellowstone area, not a whole lot of wind coming in. Is there any rain by chance? Any thunderstorms going on there? Yeah. That's what's going on. Some thunderstorm activity, it looks like. Some rain coming in. We're missing a chunk of data out here from one seismograph station, it looks like. Not for sure why, but it looks like that area is involved in some thunderstorm activity and some rain. And that is going to be the signature showing up right here. I always like to check that. If I see this type of signature across numerous graphs, it's either going to be a couple different things, weather related, or we're looking at magma movement. But I don't think that's magma movement because we just verified it was weather related. But aside from that, minimal earthquake activity there over the last 24 hours. And of course, it's shown up there on the map. With the largest, it looks like a 2.2 near the Hebgen Lake Estates. Outside of Pecos, Texas, 2.8. Out there in the oil fields, once again. Oklahoma, not a whole lot going on. Did have some activity out across the New Madrid seismic zone, although that kind of died off earlier this morning, it looks like. Not a whole lot of major activity going on yet across the eastern portion of the country, but as always, it's building up. Puerto Rico area, a handful of smaller quakes. Let's see, not a whole lot going on through the South America region. Just looks like some smaller earthquake activity. Regions today that have seen elevated movement, it looks like area south here into the South Sandwich Trench, along with the Mid-Atlantic Ridge area, seen some earthquake activity. A couple divergent boundary earthquakes out here. Subduction zone down here. That could spell and potentially point towards an uptick across this area of the Peru-Chile Trench. I know the general plate movement here with the South America plate kind of heading off towards the west-northwest area. Could see some seismic activity, but also down here maybe a little bit further movement down into the South Sandwich Islands area. There's a deeper quake there into the Chile region, I believe. Let's see what else we got. The Big Island of Hawaii out in the Pacific. Well, not a whole lot of activity here. Did have a handful of smaller quakes, but it looks like that earthquake swarm's tapering off. Getting a little bit of movement further offshore here, but deep somewhat still off the coast of the Big Island. 3.0. Mauna Loa has shown some activity, but this is relatively deep movement well underneath here for the 2.1 and the 2.0. Let's check out the well, the hazard notification system this morning on HVO basically said the same thing as it has been saying, that it's not erupting, but it's currently exhibiting signs of elevated unrest due to the earthquake activity. We're going to check out the tilt meters out here. What do we got? Something kicking up here across the what is that, Shishaldin? Hopefully that's correct. Hopefully I didn't slaughter, but it looks like this volcano just got kicked up here in the last 24 hours to the red alert warning level. Eruption continues and cloud height has decreased to, looks like 21,000 feet above sea level, moving to the northeast. So it looks as though this kicked off here earlier this morning. Explosive eruption was observed with an ash cloud now above 28,000 feet. So that's what kicked off this red warning here with this volcano. Did we see anything kicking up out here as far as earthquake activity? I know the Aleutian Trench has been pretty active here. Beautiful volcano. There it is out on this area of the Aleutian Trench with many other volcanoes out there, but goodness. All right, so we got one new active volcano out there along the Aleutian Trench. The rest of the area out here as far as volcanoes go, of course the Great Sitkin volcano has been pretty active. I don't know the last time when this one kicked off here, but definitely looks like there is some explosive activity taking off out there around the Shishaldin area. This looks like maybe 2019 is when the last eruptive stage happened, and then back 2014, 2016 as well. So it hasn't been quiet for too long there in terms of the recent activity. All right, let me get back here to the volcano activity across the Big Island. That's, can't miss that, right? All right, just want to check out some instruments out here, see what we have for the tilt meters, see if anything's going on out here. UWE is normally the yeah, that's it right there. I should bookmark it, but kind of want to show you guys where it's at on the map. Look at that decline here. This is the last 2 days. Notice that the earthquake activity has tapered off, and whoop, down we go. As far as the inflationary tilt, deflationary. That's exactly what's happening here. So, there's obviously magma underneath the region there of Kilauea volcano that's coming and going. It has not made its way to the surface yet. And I think we could see a little bit more earthquake activity that could push that up a little bit further. But we'll continue to watch it. It's definitely had quite a bit of earthquake activity here in swarms, but apparently that's just not enough. We'll definitely watch this around the Kilauea volcano. All right, New Zealand, what do we got going on down here? There's that deep earthquake this morning, a 4.2, 185 kilometers deep. I believe that's associated here with the Hikurangi subduction zone. It's another major hazardous area in terms of plate dynamics, subduction zone here. Let's go ahead and check out the GeoNet servers here real quick, see what they're reporting as far as any newer activity. Looks like a 3.0 out here in between South and North Island. 4.5, 11 hours ago. That's going to be that one I mentioned. See what we got for the drums out here. There's that 4-pointer. Showed up pretty nicely across various stations there around North Island and South Island as well, looks like. But as far as earthquake activity, that's going to be that 3-pointer, I believe. Well, let's see here. Actually, this looks like it's a little bit further south. Let me check and see here what we got. Definitely a little bit of activity kicking up out here, it appears. 1.4, 3.0, 48 minutes ago. Looking for that earthquake that's a little bit further down south here in the South Island area. Maybe that 2.3 potentially, or that 2.7. All right, either way, earthquake activity across New Zealand. We'll continue to watch that Hikurangi subduction zone. 4.7 south of Tonga early this morning. This actually has calmed down here pretty nicely. Very quiet across that region again. The latest one in this area, 5.1, Papua New Guinea area, off the plate boundary here. 32 kilometers deep. A little scattered activity across the Philippines area as well. So not a whole lot going on here. Stand by for a second. Open up the wrong window. I'm cold. Actually cold in here. 64 degrees. Woo! All right, let's see. So quiet conditions out here across Solomon Islands. Just trying to think here which areas haven't been hit in a while. Last 7 days, 4.5 and above. Still waiting on the Kuril Kamachaka Trench. That's going to be this area up here. That's definitely building up some strain. One area that really hasn't seen any significant movement is the Java Trench areas. There's been some smaller quake activity, but in the last 7 days, nothing above that that 4.5 threshold. There's I think it's 4.5 on the USGS map. So things are, I'm sure they're going to pick up here, but it's very quiet. I definitely watch this area for some further movement as well. What we got out here? A little bit of movement outside of the Garlock Fault Shear Zone outside of Ridgecrest, 1.1, Johannesburg, California. So yeah, we'll just kind of keep an eye on things, see how everything develops. Mediterranean over here, not a whole lot going on. The EMSC model is showing some of that activity though, 3s and 2s over the last couple days. And aside from the movement down in the divergent boundaries, it looks fairly quiet for the most part across the Atlantic. Let's check out space weather and see what we have. Looks like it moved everything around here. We're pretty much flatline. Look at that, a B 4.9. I don't recall the last time I seen the solar weather this low. Goodness. So the last 7 days here, we really haven't seen too much at all. But now we're at a very quiet time here in the solar weather department, unfortunately. Let's look at these sunspot regions, see if we got anything maybe that we could look forward to here in the coming days. This one over here does not look like it wants to get its act together. It's pretty massive as far as the sunspot region goes, but it's not a whole lot of complexity within that core. Potentially this one may spark my interest if it decides to get going. We'll look at this tomorrow, see if there's a little bit more enhancement around this core. Not a whole lot coming around the eastern limb at all, unfortunately. So there is some magnetic lines that we can see out here. Look at that, stretching pretty far out there. Hard to tell exactly which sunspot regions those are coming from, but we'll see what happens in the coming days. Hopefully something will kick back up. For now, it looks like the only complex structure is going to be 3415. 3415 is going to be this one I mentioned that may spark my interest. It is somewhat complex. giving us an 85% chance for a C flare, M flare at 20, X flare around 5%, but we'll see how that goes, I guess. No major auroras in the forecast, unfortunately. A look at the live seismograph stations here globally. Things are calm for now. All right, folks. Again, thank you very much for making this channel reach 100,000 subscribers. That's kind of a big deal. Been looking forward to that for a while, and I'm very thankful for those that support this channel and share the video, and of course like and comment. That always helps out as well. And to the members out there, appreciate every single member. Of course, we'll be doing another member drawing here on the 15th of September. Goodness, already September. And then the 100,000 subscriber giveaway here. We'll be giving away prizes to 10 people, and I'm going to go into that whole video later here in the coming days. You'll see it. It'll be called something like 100,000 subscriber giveaway entry video, and from there I'll explain what needs to be done so that you guys can be entered into this drawing. And like I said, we're going to be giving away some cool prizes to 10 people. We're going to make it a little tier level. We're going to give a little bit higher quality prizes to the top 3, and then of course the remainder 7 will get prizes as well, but we're just going to do that little tier event. See how that works out. But either way, I'm pretty excited. It's been a long time coming, it seems like. I thought we were going to hit it earlier this year, but hey, things, they go up and they go down. But either way, I appreciate everyone out there. Missy Mimi said thank you to everyone as well. She's busy working on her computer. We got a lot of school work and stuff we got to do over the weekends, and it's just pretty busy on my end. But that's all right. That's not stopping me from continuing to advance this channel. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow sometime. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.